Hey, this is Lewis from Breakdance, and in this video I want to show you our powerful forms functionality. We have a form builder built into Breakdance that can let you create advanced forms. So let's demo that right now. Let's go to Add and Form Builder. Let's drag a form builder onto our page. And in Form Builder, you have a number of different field types. So I'm going to clear out the default field. This is just a contact form, and let's build one from scratch. So we'll just go Add Field. And you have text, email, text area, URL, phone number, radio, checkbox, select. Everything you want to build a form, we've got it. So let's add a text field. Let's just make this a contact form with some questions on it. So we got a name. And under advanced, we can choose a default value on the placeholder. I can write like your full name, and that would be the placeholder. But we don't need any placeholders for this form right now. We do want this field to be required though, so let's choose required, so the user will get an error if they try to submit the form without filling out the name. Let's remove the placeholder, keep it nice and clean. Let's add another field called email address. So we choose email, and now the user will have to type in an invalid email address. Let's change the label to email, and let's make this required as well. And let's start off by adding a text area field for a message. So it's like the user is going to send us a message, kind of like a contact form. And we're not going to make this message required. And then let's add in a radio option, asking if you want fries with that. Do you want fries with that? And let's add an option. The label will be, yes, I like fries. And the option value, we can just put lowercase yes. Maybe you want, this is going to be exported to a CSV or something, and you want specific option values. And we'll select this one by default. And the other option is no, I'm on a diet, and the option value is just going to be no. Let's add another field just to demo some of these. We can add time field, date, file upload, password, hidden field. Let's add a select field. What add-ons do you want? And then let's let the user choose multiple options, and we're going to have an option for catch up. And we don't have to specify the values. If we don't, the value would just be the label. What are the other options they want? We could have mayo with our fries. We could have mustard. Those are the options. Now the user could choose multiple. So anyway, as you can see, powerful form builder element. We could also add in a hidden field. And we can set the value of this hidden field to anything we want. We can set it dynamically. So maybe the user came in from some sort of advertisement campaign with the UTM tag, and we want to know, what campaign they came from. So we choose common UTM tags. We're going to choose UTM campaign. And now when this form is submitted on the back end, we're going to be able to see which advertising campaign they came from, and the field won't be visible on the front end. So that's a cool feature, hidden fields. You can also do fancy stuff. You can add an HTML field if you want to inject any kind of custom HTML into your form. I'm not going to do that right now, but basically we have, a number of different field types. You can build pretty much anything you need to be able to build. Let's take a look at the form actions. So, first, actually, let's take a look at submit and success and errors. So when the user submits the form, it'll either give them a success message or an error message if something has gone wrong. You can also redirect or hide the form on success. If they submitted successful, hide the form, then redirect to some other page on the site, like a thank you page. But anyway, we don't need that right now. We're just going to have the success message. Okay, now let's go to actions and choose what we want. By default, the form is going to email you the contents of the form and store the submission in the WordPress admin panel so you can take a look at it. Let's clear out these defaults right now and see all of our options. So we have a number of integrations. We have ActiveCampaign, we have ConvertKit, we have Drip, Discord, Slack, GetResponse, MailChimp, MailerLite. These will let you get your form data into these third-party tools. For example, you want to subscribe somebody to your MailChimp list. You choose the MailChimp integration, and then you enter in your API key, which you can do in the admin panel, or you can do right here. It supports multiple API keys. Then you choose your audience, your list, all the MailChimp data. Same for the other integrations like ActiveCampaign, ConvertKit, Drip, etc., etc. But the two basic actions you're going to probably be using most commonly is email and store submission. So for email, we'll clear out the default settings, and I'll just create it from scratch. We can add an email. So who do we want to email right now? Subject can be anything we want. You have a new message in your form. Or we can create the subject from the form data. New message from, and then we can choose the name, whatever the user has filled out as their name. To email, we could say to the admin at SoFly. From email, we choose the user's email. From name, we can choose the user's name. Reply to, we don't need to set that if we don't want. For the message, we can create whatever we want in here. We could put specific fields in the message. We could put all fields in the message. We could put that hidden field if we still had that on the form in the message. We could do something like this. Name is name. Put that in the message. All fields, just going to be all your form data, so that's going to be the one you're going to use most commonly. And you could have multiple emails. You could email yourself. You could even email the user. You could send a to email to the user. You can say, we received your submission. We'll get back to you soon. Okay, let's clear out that second email. We only want an email from us. In fact, we don't even need to get an email because we can just store the submission in the WordPress admin panel. So let's choose Store Submission, and now the submission is going to be stored in the WordPress admin panel with the title of whatever you want. So I'll just make the title the email, which is what it is by default, but you can choose, you can choose whatever you want. You can choose name, message. Do you want fries with that? Let's make it the user's name, actually. Okay, so now we're storing our submission. And then we have some advanced options like the form's HTML ID. We can prevent spam by enabling reCAPTCHA. You just have to specify your reCAPTCHA API key, and then bots will not be able to submit this form. You can add a honeypot field, which means if the bot fills it out, it's a hidden field, and it's obviously spam because a user couldn't possibly fill out that invisible field. So it'll just get discarded. That way you don't have to deal with spam. And I want to mention two more advanced actions we have too. We have webhook, which means you can send the form data into a webhook, any URL. You can map your fields as you wish, and you can even add headers. So I could say, for example, my name, whatever the webhook requires, field value is, whatever I want it to be. I could even make it name-email. You can get totally custom with this. You can do webhook, or you can do, the other advanced option is custom JavaScript. So you can actually run custom JavaScript code when the form is submitted to do whatever you want, maybe to trigger some kind of conversion in your analytics software, really whatever you want to do, you can do it. Okay, let's go ahead and submit this form, and then let's take a look at the stored submissions in the admin panel. So we'll go over to the front end, and let's fill it out. John Doe at breakdance.com. Hello, I am an example message. No, I am on a diet and I want ketchup and mayo. Submit. Your message has been received. Let's do another, so let's submit it again. Mark.doe at breakdance.com. In fact, let me demo some errors. So if you don't fill out the required email field, it says please fill out the field. If you don't fill an email, it says please include a valid email address. But okay, here's a valid email address. And we won't choose any add-ons, and we'll say yes, we want fries. Let's submit that. Your message has been received. Let's go into the admin panel and go to Breakdance Form Submissions, and here we can see our submitted forms. Let's take a look at John Doe's submission, and here it is. This is an alpha, so that's a bug, not showing what add-ons you want selected, but that'll be fixed in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, yeah, it's an alpha, so if you find any issues like this, please report them to us. That's the whole point of the alpha period. Anyway, you get the name, the email, the message, the data, various information, where it came from, which post the form came from. You also have these actions. So let's add an action so you can see the action log. So let's say we want this form to send an email. So we'll go to email, and let's make an email that goes to me from the person who submitted the form, with a message of all fields. And let's go ahead and save this. Let's go to the front end, and let's fill out this form again. Jane Doe at breakdance.com. Hello. Let's submit. And now let's go back to Breakdance submissions and take a look at Jane Doe's submission. And we will see the action log. So you'll see this for all the actions. If you connect to MailChimp, ConvertKit, any of these. And if an action doesn't work, you get an error here with details so you can see what went wrong. So this makes it very easy to debug your integrations. If you're having trouble connecting the form to anything, you'll be able to see why you're having a problem. Now, one of the best features of forms in terms of design are our global styles. So to wrap up the video, I'm going to show how to use the form global styles. So in addition to the form builder, we have login form, register form, forgot password form, comment form. So I'm going to add a couple other forms to this page. So let's go ahead and we'll add a columns element. Let's make a new section actually, section, and we'll drag this columns down there. Let's do a login form, and let's do a register form. And I'm going to add a little heading above these forms just so we can see what's happening. Just so we know what's what, we'll call this login form and make that an H2, and then we'll call this other one register form. Whoops, I wanted to copy this, copy and paste. We'll call this register form, then we just have our main form. Now we can use the global styler to get all of the forms on our site to look matching, to look great, right? For an individual form, sure, you can go to the design options, you can customize that design all you want, right? You can choose, full width submit button, you can change your form fields, typography, but you probably want all the forms on your site to look the same. So the best way to do that is to go into the global styler. So to do that, we're just going to go to global settings, and then we're going to go to forms. And let's go to fields. Let's say we had let's say we want to make our form field borders black and no radius. We'll remove that radius and we'll give them a black border that is 1 pixel solid. And look at that, now our forms have a black border. Every single form, we can make a brand new page and add a forms element to that page and it would look like this. These will apply to our WooCommerce forms too. So our WooCommerce checkout form and our contact form and our login form, it's all going to look consistent. Maybe we want to customize the form typography. Maybe we want to change the label sizes a little bit. All right, let's make them a little bit smaller there. Let's go to advanced, add a little bit of letter spacing to those labels. Maybe not that much, 0.5 pixels looks good. And maybe we want to use a slightly different color. Honestly, the defaults are pretty damn good. So don't mess with it too much unless you really know what you're doing. Let's change those buttons. Well, this is just a button, just like a button on our site, right? We could add another button. This is just a button element. Then we have our forms with buttons. Well, we're just going to go to our button settings. Just right here in buttons, we can customize our primary buttons. We're going to make our buttons be purple. And now guess what? Our default button is purple. All of our form buttons are purple. If we go to colors and choose purple for a brand color too, then our links in the forms are going to be purple. Okay, let's go back into the global form settings. We can customize the message styles on every single form. Success message, error message, padding on the message. We can say the submit button on our forms is always going to be full width. We can customize the styles a little bit. Let's say we want to make our form submit buttons a little bit bigger. Let's make a custom size and give it 20 pixels of padding on the top and the bottom. Let's make it a little more for the video so you can see what's happening. Let's make that text a little bit bigger. And look at that, every single form now looks totally consistent. We could make the fields bigger if we wanted to. We could change the focused style. Let's go to padding. Let's say we want 12 pixels of, no, let's go 20 pixels on all sides. Look at that, now we have big form fields. Easy, we probably need a little more spacing now that we made the fields big, so let's go to spacing. And between the fields, let's, just using the arrow key there to increase that number. There we go, 36 pixels of spacing between all the fields. Beautiful forms with the form global styles. It's a great feature of Breakdance. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. To learn more, visit breakdance.com, and we hope you'll test out the alpha. If you find any bugs, please report them.